it's working. So, today is the 22nd of December, and I went to see the psychiatrist. Is it too dark? I'm breaking my windows. Hang on. Oh my god, it's broken. Shit. Come on. Did that make any? Yeah, it did make a difference. Okay. So, I went to see the psychiatrist, and he was not very helpful. What else to say? I don't know what else to say, but I went to have another negative energy cleaning, and I've also got some leaves that I meant to shower with and spray on my head before I sleep to help me sleep. And yeah, because they said that I was having sleeping problems, and they're like, oh, no, still, take this. And I told my dad about getting my fortune told because Dad's actually pretty against it. But I told him anyway, and I'm like, you're not allowed to be angry at Mom. You can be angry at me, you can't be angry at Mom. I had a lot more I wanted to say, but I don't remember what it is. Totally forgot what it is, actually. Sips. Never mind, I will read you like water for chocolate. Be right back. Okay. I have no idea where I was up to, so this is going to be so much fun. Not that page. Not that page. Making the filling. To prepare the filling, To prepare the filling, heat the apricot paste together with a little bit of water. After the mixture comes to the boil, strain it, preferably through a hair or flour sieve, but a coarser strainer can be used if you don't have either of those. Place the paste in a pan, add the sugar, and heat, stirring constantly until the mixture forms a marmalade. Remove from the heat and allow to cool slightly before spreading it on the middle layer of the cake, which of course had previously been sliced into layers. Luckily, Nacha and Tita had made several jars of preserve, apricot fig, and camote with pineapple the month before the wedding. Thanks to that, they were spared the task of making the marmalade filling the same day. They often made enormous batches of jam, using whatever fruit was in season, which they cooked on the patio in a huge copper saucepan. The pan was set up over a fire, and they had to cover their arms with old sheets to stir the marmalade. This prevented the bubbles from boiling up and burning their skin. The moment Tita opened the jar, the smell of apricots transported her to the afternoon they made the marmalade. Tita had come in from the kitchen garden carrying the fruit in her skirt because she had forgotten a basket. She walked into the kitchen with her skirt held up in front of her and was startled to bump into Pedro. Pedro was heading out to get the carriage ready. They had to deliver some invitations in town, and since the head groom had not shown up at the ranch that day, the job had fallen upon Pedro. When Nacha saw him enter the kitchen, she left practically at a run on the pretext of cutting some epazote to add to the beans. Shocked as she was, Tita dropped a few of the apricots. Pedro quickly came over to help pick them up. Bending down, he could see the part of her leg that was exposed. To prevent Pedro from looking at her leg, Tita let go of her skirt. When she did, all the rest of the apricots rolled onto Pedro's head. "Forgive me, Pedro, did I hurt you?" "Not as much as I have hurt you. Let me say that I did not ask for an explanation. You have to let me say a few words. I let you do that once, and all I got was lies. I don't want to hear any more." With that, Tita fled from the kitchen into the room where Chencha and Gertrudis were embroidering the sheet for the wedding night. It was a white silk sheet, and they were embroidering a delicate pattern in the center of it. The opening was designed to reveal only the bride's essential parts while allowing marital intimacy. How lucky they had been to obtain French silk at that time of political instability. The revolution made it impossible to travel in safety, which is why, if it hadn't been for a Chinaman who dealt in smuggled goods, it would have been impossible to obtain the material, since Mama Elena would never have allowed one of her daughters to risk traveling to the capital to buy the things for Rosera's dress and trousseau, whatever. This Chinaman was a crafty fellow. He accepted notes issued by the Revolutionary Army in the north as payment for the merchandise he sold in the capital. Even though the notes were worthless and not negotiable there, naturally, when he took these notes in payment, it was at a fraction of their value. But he then took them to the north, where they were worth their full value, and bought goods with them. In the north, he accepted notes issued in the capital, at low value, of course, and so he spent the entire revolution until he wound up a millionaire. But the important thing is that thanks to him, Rosera would be able to enjoy the finest, most exquisite fabric on her wedding night. Tita stood as if in a trance, staring at the whiteness of the sheet, only for a few seconds, but long enough to cause a sort of blindness. Wherever she looked, she saw the color white. When she looked at Rosera, who was writing out some invitations, she only saw a snowy ghost, but she showed nothing, and no one noticed her condition. She didn't want another rebuke, whatever, from Mama Elena. When the Lobos arrived to give Rosera her wedding present, Tita tried to sharpen her senses to work out who was greeting her, since to her they looked like porcelain ghosts covered by white sheets. Fortunately, Chiki's shrill voice gave Tita the solution to her problem, and she was able to greet them without much of a problem. Later, when she accompanied the Lobos to the entrance of the ranch, she noticed that she had never seen such a night before. To her, it was all a blinding whiteness. Now she was afraid the same thing would happen again, but she was unable to concentrate on making the icing for the cake. No matter how hard she tried, the whiteness of the granulated sugar frightened her. She felt powerless against it, feeling that at any moment the white color might seize her mind, dragging along those snow-white images from her childhood. May-time images of being taken, all in white, to offer white flowers to the Virgin. She entered the church in a row of girls, all dressed in white, and approached the altar, which was covered with white candles and flowers, illuminated by a heavenly white light streaming through the stained glass window of the white church. Never had she entered that church, not once, without dreaming of the day she would enter it on the arm of another man. She had to block out not just this thought, but all the memories that had caused her so much pain. She had to finish the frosting for her sister's wedding cake. Making a supreme effort, she began to prepare it. Preparing the fondant icing. To prepare the fondant, combine the sugar and water in a pan and heat, stirring constantly until the mixture comes to a boil. Strain into another pan and return to the heat. Add the lime juice and cook until it reaches the soft-boiled stage. I've had enough of reading already. Wiping the edge of the pan with a damp cloth periodically to prevent the sugar from crystallizing. When the mixture... I give up.